Thank you. My arms are too short.
Can we call the meeting to order? Roll call.
Mr. Viera?
Here.
Dr. Vogt?
Here.
Mrs. Lennis?
Here.
Dr. Selly?
Here.
Mr. Dangler?
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspapers in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted as required by law.
This is our Employee of the Month presentation. I'd like to call Mr. Mark Morgan to the podium, please. How you doing, sir? All right. Mark has been with the Department of Sanitation since 2001. He comes to work with a positive attitude each and every day. The compliments that we have received over the years as he's worked here from the residents are far too many to count. Mark has an outstanding attendance record, considering the weather conditions that our sanitation workers have to endure. Words like exceptional, courteous, well-respected are all words that describe Mr. Mark Morgan. We're grateful to have him, and congratulations for being selected as Employee of the Month.
Molly, could you come up, and Mr. Guzman and Javier? Molly has and her family have been advocates for September is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month, and she has gotten us involved in resolutions and proclamations for the last couple of years, and this year is no exception. So I'm not going to read the entire resolution or proclamation that I'm going to give to Molly, but I just will read a few important facts. So this is a resolution declaring September 19th as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the city of Long Branch. So whereas 36 children in the United States will be diagnosed with cancer each day at an average of age 6 years and old, whereas 1 in every 5 children diagnosed with cancer will not survive the disease, and whereas the type of cancers that affect children are most often very different from those that affect adults. Childhood cancer is not just one disease, but it's made up of a dozen types and countless types of cancer. And childhood cancer spares no socioeconomic, ethnic, racial, or geographic class, and pediatric cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in the U.S. children under 15 years of age. The causes of most pediatric cancers are largely unknown and not strongly linked to lifestyle, unlike adult cancers. And 2/3 of childhood cancer patients will develop long-lasting chronic conditions resulting from treatment. So whereas the funding for pediatric cancer research has gone down steadily since 2003, And whereas despite the facts that childhood cancer research is vastly and consistently underfunded, and despite major advances in treatment, it is still critically important to conduct research and increase awareness regarding pediatric cancer. So now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Long Branch that they do hereby declare September 19th to be Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in Long Branch, New Jersey, in order to help raise awareness of pediatric cancer and its victims. And again, I just want to thank Molly and her family for keeping that awareness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Chief, I think you're up next. I'm sorry, so the chief, we're honoring the chaplains tonight. I just want to say thank you to all our chaplains who are being sworn in tonight. The chief will explain what the chaplains do and what this is all about, but we appreciate your devotion to the city of Long Branch and interest in assisting the growth and future of our community. And I pretty much know each and every individual here that's being sworn in tonight, and they are all a huge asset to both our police department and the community as a whole. So thank you so much.
Good evening. We're here to swear in the members of our police chaplains tonight. We brought this program back a little while ago, largely because some of the local clergy members told me they thought it would be a good idea, and I tend to listen to them. It's good for my soul, so I go out and do that. But I think it is a very good idea. It's part of one of the many things we do to reach out to everyone who lives in the city. And over the last year or so, our liaison, Captain Frank Rizzuto, has put together a lot of training with them. He couldn't make it here tonight. Thanks to him. I also want to thank Pastor Akins from the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office. He's also been involved with the program. They're going to be available not only to us while we're out there working, but to all of you. So if something happens where you need to speak to someone and we happen to be involved, we have a list of people, and they're here tonight, or at least some of them are here tonight, represented by a lot of the faiths out there, and they'll be able to talk to someone if they do need someone in that moment. So I want to lastly thank all the members here tonight for your patience and your time that you so freely give to us and the city, and we're about to put you guys to work soon, finally. All right, so thank you. If you want to all come up, I'll have the city clerk come up, please, and swear you all into your 2-year term. Mine is right up there. What do you want them there, Madam Clerk? You guys are in charge. Wherever you like yourselves.
This is fine.
You can go.
Okay, if you raise your right hand, please. I, and if you please state your name,
I, Si Stanton,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of chaplain
all the duties of chaplain
for the Long Branch Police
for the
Department
Long Branch Police Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, badges and guns out back when we're done. Just kidding, no guns, no guns.
Hearings, we have none. Reading and approval of previous minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the September 11th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mr. Dagler?
Yes. Consideration of ordinances, public hearing and final consideration, none. Ordinance for introduction, we have none. Public participation, I need a motion to open up the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If there's anyone in the audience that has a comment to make, please step to the podium, state your name and address clearly for the record. You will
Lori
begin-
Dalton, 455 Atlantic Avenue. I also, just piggybacking on the cancer awareness, I think Long Branch could do more than just a day. I think we should paint the town gold for cancer awareness, like they do for October for breast cancer. I think Long Branch should also go gold. The reason why I'm here is I sent you an email, Mr. Pallone, on the 31st pertaining to New Jersey Natural Gas hiring Kylie to dig up the roads in the middle of winter, and you responded that on June 2nd that you would have the business administrator, Mr. George Jackson, look into this and get back to me. On July 22nd, I sent you a follow-up email. Still no response. Now, if you notice, on River Lane, beautiful job on the bulkheads that you're doing. River Lane, Middle Lane, Baruch. Kylie came in and cut trenches going all the way around the circle and then patched it in the middle of winter. We know what happens when you try and patch a pothole or any hole in the winter. Between the snow, the ice, it expands. They're already sinking. My neighbor and I spent years calling Monmouth County because New Jersey Natural Gas dug up in front of the house across the street, and it settled so low that every time trucks went to the reclamation center, things would fall off our walls from the bouncing and the noise and the trailers. It took us years. Finally, this fall, Monmouth County came and they paved and fixed it. And you know what happened come February? New Jersey Natural Gas cut up right where they just redid. Now they've done this down Edwards, Coleman. Our roads are a mess. Is there an ordinance about reopening a road within so many months of when it's been repaved? Is there anyone that holds these companies accountable? Because what's going to happen now is this winter, all these holes that they opened up between the summer heat and now the cold, we're going to be left in Pothole City. It just doesn't seem right.
So let me say this first. I apologize. I try to be as responsive as I can. So the last correspondence you said was in July with me?
I got back to you asking you, I'm still waiting for a response. Is there an ordinance stating if you open up the road within so many months, do they have to repave the whole road?
So I do want to apologize for that. But let me ask, our engineer is here. Laura, can you address the question at all in terms of the opening of roads and ordinances?
Sure, you want me to come up? How easier, right? So yeah, we have road opening permits which are issued, and so they're monitored for that. I will check. I was recently appointed whether or not we have what I would refer to as a moratorium ordinance.
I don't understand how they can open a road and turn your heat off in February to replace meters. That made no sense, but they did. But the roads, Atlantic, I know it's a county road, it's not up to you guys, but it's a mess. And so's Edwards and Coleman, and you've got the new ramp, but that whole circle has this trench like this going all the way around it. How is that okay?
So I'm happy to follow up. I will tell you, if it isn't the county road, though, that isn't under our jurisdiction.
I get that, but all the other roads are Long Branch.
And I'm happy to follow up with them. I will tell you, it's not uncommon. I run into this in a lot of municipalities where the gas company's doing work. Some of it's emergency work, some of it is just switching high pressure lines or just gas mains.
Right.
So I'm happy to look into it and
Thank
make
you.
sure that they're doing adequate restoration.
Thank you. My other thing I wanted to
And
bring
ma'am,
up,
if you can, I'm the city attorney. We actually have the ordinance that Laura's talking about. We actually have, so we have an ordinance that says that you cannot get a road opening permit for a road within the first 5 years that it's been paved, unless it's a public health or safety emergency. So if there's a gas leak and they have to open a road, they can go into it, but otherwise you
they were
cannot
just
get an opening.
replacing the mains, that's all, to the house.
Well, I don't know
Yeah.
certain, but your question is, do we have an ordinance? And the answer is yes, we do with regards to city streets, but it is for the first 5 years after they've been paved.
Okay. My other question is there a way to get, at the corner of Washington and Broadway, there are yellow paintings on the curb, there's faded yellow box, and there's signs that say no stopping or standing. But every morning, I listen to this recording every day, every night, and that same alarm goes off. Does that mean my 5 minutes are up?
5 minutes are up, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
But just finish the thought, just so we can,
Well, you got the preschool there, the Board of
Okay.
Ed, you got Snow White. Everyone parks
can
in
you,
those
can you
boxes.
stay,
and-
can you stay after the meeting and we'll talk, or?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Perone and all council members. My name is Anita Clavering, and I live on 161 Garrett Drive. I would like to speak on the honor I am about to receive, which is a position on the Long Branch Housing Authority Board. I would like to deeply and gratefully thank Mayor Perone and the council members for recommending me for this important position, which is to basically meet and work together with other members to improve all aspects of housing in Long Branch. My objective while serving on the board is to explain and educate how affordable housing for people with disabilities and group homes and/or their own homes can and should be improved to ensure accessibility and inclusion in the community. I am looking very much forward to working on any and all aspects of housing, and I would indeed learn more while serving on the board. If any of you have any questions or comments for me, I will make myself available so you can call or email me. Again, I would like to thank Mayor Perone and the council for these unique opportunities to serve the community. Thank you all very much.
It's a beautiful dog.
Abby Settle. Lie down. My name is Irma Schwartz. I live on Vine Court with my sister Lydia Wyckoff. I'd like to briefly speak about Animal Control Officer Debbie Nagel and an incident involving an unleashed dog. My sister suffered a brain concussion and facial injuries as a result of the fall caused by an unleashed, out-of-control dog. Officer Nagel was both professional and helpful in explaining the laws of the city and teaching us what our options were. We sincerely want to thank her for her assistance.
Thank you.
Abby, this is Abby. Abby is my service dog. Abby, come around. This is the dog that was part of the incident.
Anyone else? Come on, if. Can I say something? Yes.
My name is Joe Lucia. I live on 16 Woolley Avenue.
Mr. Lucia, you could raise the mic a little bit, just
Okay.
lift it up there.
And I'd like to talk to Mr. Pallone about what's going on about it. If are we going to get speed bumps? It's a 25-mile-an-hour road. These people go down there about 40 miles an hour. I live on that road. I've been there 29 years. These people are crazy. I've almost got hit a couple times taking my garbage out. They come right past you. They give you the finger if you tell them to slow down. I've got bottles thrown at me. And, you know, something's got to be done. You got to put speed bumps down. The police that come there, I won't tell you who, but they come there with no speed guns. I don't know how you can give anybody a ticket without a speed gun. And also, you know, it's dangerous. Somebody's going to get hurt badly because what they do is they come from West End Road and they just fly down. They don't look at the people coming from West End Road. And somebody almost got T-boned the other day. And something's going to happen there sooner or later, and you're going to get sued. That's what's going to happen. They go too fast down there. You know, police tell you, oh, you can't plow with the speed bumps. Believe me, I worked in a cemetery for 40 years. I plowed with speed bumps. I know how to do it. And it's ridiculous. They go too fast. It's way too fast.
So, Mr. Lucia, I know you and I speak on a fairly regular basis.
Yep.
Chief Roebuck, I don't know, maybe you could explain, you know, what we've done there on Woolley as we've done on some other streets with the digital signs and the reports. And then, as I mentioned to you when we last spoke, Mr. Lucia, you know, we had an officer down there at the beginning of the school day for several days.
Oh, I see him. I go out and look.
Yeah. So, I don't know, Chief, is there anything we can...
There's some days I call up and they won't send them at all.
Speed bumps and why, you know, we've hesitated to do it.
Right, because we're not really for them. We're going to take another look at them to see if there's something we can do. If there's maybe a speed hump or something that we can put in, but we did put the radar sign up there, and the speeds that we caught were not that high. We put somebody down there, and the speeds are not that high.
Yeah.
So we have continued to look at it, but we haven't seen anything at this point.
Excuse me, can I say something? That's bull. I live on that road, and they don't go 25 miles an hour. There's no way. That's no way. That's a lie.
Mr. Luciano, I just wanted to get the chief's opinion, but we could continue the conversation here and see what we could do.
Something needs to be done, really, it does. I mean, unless you're just going to wait for somebody to get killed.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do.
Okay,
All right?
thanks.
I mean, I've been down here. I had half the neighborhood's names on paper to come down here and tell them that how fast people go.
Yeah.
And then one guy tells me that they're all going 25. I don't think so. That's
Let's
a lie.
continue to talk about it. We can put the sign back down. We could,
Yeah,
do the
they had sign
enforcement.
down there. They had the sign down there, and the lady gave me the finger when she passed the sign when I was looking up at the sign. They don't care. They don't care. They go, if a cop is there, they'll slow down. I have to call the police every day, and I'm paying the butt. I'm sure they hate my guts, but I call every morning to tell them to come down here and send a cop car because they're flying, and that's the teachers too. That's not just the students, because I wake up at 6 o'clock because it's zoom, 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 zoom. Everybody's zooming down the street. You know, 70 cars I counted go down that street every day.
Let's continue to talk and see what we can do.
All right, I can go.
Thank you, Mr. Lucia.
Request 1-minute notification. Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. At the last council meeting, I spoke about the audit in Resolution 185-19, and I referred to the clean audit of the senior center. I stated that the mayor has not come out to publicly defend the senior center director, Pat Kornicki, against the baseless accusations of Alice Kessler concerning financial improprieties and discrimination. After I spoke, the mayor, in response to Mr. Avery Grant's defense of the senior center, stated the following, quote, "Mr. Grant, with all due respect, I have no idea what Mr. Lepore is talking about." And then Pallone further stated, quote, "I'm not sure what he is saying, but it's untrue," unquote. I emphasize the word Mayor Pallone used, untrue. Tonight we have a bit of fact-checking. City of Long Branch, minutes, August 22nd, 2017. I'm taking a quote from Alice Kessler, quote, "Feels the center should," no, this is the quote from the minutes of what she stated, quote, "feels the senior center should not make a profit off of the services," end quote. The minutes of 11/28/17 meeting, Alice Kessler is quoted in the minutes, quote, "went on to speak about the cash flow of the senior center," end quote. At the West End Long Branch NJ Watchdog video of the 11/28/17 council meeting, Alice Kessler stated the following about the finances of the senior center, quote, "Before council kicks one nickel, the cash generated is over $25,000 per year," end quote, at the senior center. Then Alice Kessler stated further, quote, "Cash producing, profit-making exercise classes continue," end quote. And I emphasize the word again, profit-making. Finally, Kessler asked the council, quote, "In the last 2 years, has the cash flow at the senior center been audited?" End quote. The response from the administration was yes. At the September 12, 2018 council meeting, the video of the West End Long Branch NJ Watchdog displays Alice Kessler stating, "I think the director of the senior center is in need of diversity and sensitive education." Kessler then continued, quote, "The city is over 30% Latino, 20% black," end quote. "But when you come to the senior center, mayor and council, quote, look at the faces in the audience. You'll see who feels most welcome to attend," end quote, the senior center. Clearly, the record demonstrates statements of financial improprieties and discrimination by Alice Kessler. I stand by what I said at the last council meeting because the record proves me out. Supporting the record of the senior center is not enough. A public defense by Mayor Pallone against the false accusations of Alice Kessler is what is expected. On top of that, more is expected by Mayor Pallone. A lawsuit by the City of Long Branch on behalf of the senior center against Alice Kessler for her false remarks against the senior center. It would be most appropriate. Finally, back to the Pallone remark to Mr. Grant, quote, "I have no idea what Mr. Lepore is talking about," end quote. It was Pallone who thanked Ms. Kessler at the conclusion of both the video appearances of West End Long Branch NJ Watchdog. Thank you, clerk. I have stated all along, and I wanted in the budget a city psychiatrist in City Hall for the reason of protecting the people of this city from the continued charading, chicanery, manipulation, and deceit by this mayor and council. And again tonight, we've displayed another record. The record doesn't lie, but Team Pallone does. It's junk government.
evening, everybody. Bill Germano, 600 Russell Avenue. Mr. Robach, and I explained to you wrong last couple of weeks, last year, 2 years to go. I want to know what you got in your mind, why you don't making moves. I want to go Freehold, I want to go Trento, I want to go to the criminal building to talk to the judges about you. You don't make no moves. What are you waiting for? Christmas around the corner. I want you to get up tomorrow and make a press charges on me. Okay, Robert? The game is over. Okay?
Excuse me,
But-
sir. You're certainly free to continue, but if you could address the council, even though you're asking the police chief a question.
Yeah, I'm going to question him, yeah.
Okay, yes, but if you would just address.
Don't interrupt me, mister,
Thank you, sir.
because you're going to be next. You tell about these people over here, when you go, Snyder give you those stars. How many days you go to school for those stars or months? Because in the army, I have 1 star. Tell me how you work. Tell these people how you work. Did you go to school? Yes or no? I want to know how many months, how many days you go to school. When I have the 1 star in the army, I tell you how many months you go. Because you don't go no school. Snyder open up the khaki, Jackie Buck is here, says, Robert, take 2 stars and go run to police department. Okay? That's the way he did it for you. So don't make everybody you think, you know what I mean, you go to school for those stars. Because that's not truth. Snyder give it to you because you did a lot of favor to him. Okay? If I tell you how many favors you give it to him, I'm going to make you run. Instead of go to Boardwalk, you got to go Botswana or Uganda. Go see your friends over there. So get up and make your moves, mister. Thank you.
My name's Linda Swinby, and I live at Gregory School Apartments, 157 7th Avenue. I just came back from Minnesota, and while I was in Minnesota, I saw on Google that there was oil tanks down on the redevelopment being, pulled up, and when I came back, I saw one. My question is, hopefully I'm not out of line, but I just, it was in, paper, it's a well-known fact. How long is that going to take? Is that going to slow things down for the redevelopment? And if so, how long is it going to take? Because this ground was empty 3 years and nothing happened. So somebody had to know about these tanks being underground before. Somebody had to know about it.
Linda, you're talking about the tanks on Lower Broadway there, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's part of the, from what we understand, that's part of the contract between the potential new buyer and the old buyer. There are about 24 tanks that have been identified. There's an environmental company there as well as a company that is removing the tanks. So in order for them to ultimately build on it, they need to know what's down there. They've identified 24. I think last week they removed 9. If I'm not mistaken, they said it would be 3 or 4 weeks to get them all up. Some of them are under the sidewalk, so they're pulling up the easy ones first. I mean, Mr. Mariano could tell you it's typical of of a real estate transaction.
So you already
and they date back from many, many years. You should know those buildings were very old.
Oh, yeah.
So when they demolished them, they did not pull up the tanks, and they currently are doing that now because it's a part of their negotiation, apparently.
Yeah.
From what I'm told.
They're about 50 years old. That's okay. So you knew about it and everything, so.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
so I
There-
didn't know this was under
Yes,
contract. I
all the,
didn't-
all,
didn't
all
know
the
it got in
tanks,
that
as
far.
they're pulled up, they're being tested. If there's any
All I-
remediation needed, they will have to address that.
Because all I could imagine was, here's these tanks, and somebody had to know about it, now that's just gonna hinder the, all my,
No, no,
all the thoughts, it's gonna stop slow down the redevelopment.
So they
and
know
all my-
exactly where to dig and to pull them up.
Okay, thank you.
But thank you.
Good evening. Patty Verocchi, 246 Jerome Avenue, Oakhurst. I was curious if someone could explain what the master plan is with the city. Where is it along the way with getting updated, and will the citizens have any input in the master plan?
Yes, so you understand what the master plan is, right?
And I would like someone to explain.
So the municipal land use law, which is the state law that governs zoning and planning, requires towns to have in place a master plan. The master plan has different sections to it: traffic circulation, zoning, housing, recreation, open space. And it is a kind of a guiding document that from that then comes the zoning ordinance that's adopted by the town. So the planning board is required to update it every 6 years, and that's the process that we're in now. So what'll happen is, yes, there'll be public, the plan is to have public meetings to explain the master plan and get input into it. They go through and they do things like review all the variances that have taken place to see whether or not there's maybe a necessity to change a zone or change the building requirements in a certain area. So that's kind of what it is. They're going to go through some public process and before they actually introduce it to the planning board.
Okay.
And get public input into it and present it. And then at the planning board itself, there are actually noticed public hearings before it's adopted. Once they're done and they've adopted it, then it essentially that's a planning board document, not a council document.
Okay.
Then it's up to the council to take a look at the recommendations in the zoning part of it and then make the changes to the zoning ordinance.
Okay. So the last one that was done was like 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's every 10 years.
So I thought it was every 6 years.
Excuse me, 10 years. I misspoke.
Okay. And how long does it take to get one? Is there one that's in the process of being worked on now?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. The city planner's in the process of preparing it now.
Okay.
He was directed by the planning board to do that.
Okay. Relatively, how long does something like that take to
My
finish?
understanding is that he's about ready to go based upon my conversation with him, I think just today, that he's about ready to start to schedule the public meetings.
Okay.
To get input, and then I would think that sometime in the fall, it would probably get to the planning board.
Very good. There's been a lot of changes, obviously, in the last 10 years, so.
Correct.
I'd be curious to see what direction Long Branch is heading. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else?
Good evening. Ernest McNolly, born in Long Branch.
Mr. Magnoli, can you raise the...
Ernest McNolly, born in Long Branch.
Thank you.
Homeowner in Asbury Park now, but I'm always in both cities. I'd like to start by saying, when you hear people come here and we talk about our experiences and our fears, and we make references to things you wouldn't expect, like police, firemen, city officials. I don't know if everyone's aware, but on the 3rd of September, earlier this month, I was the victim of the 2 police that were arrested. They came to my hotel and they came to my home, and with knives, they bashed windows, knifed my tires. They're constantly threatening me. Right? Now, they're arrested. The prosecutor caught them and arrested them. Right? Now they're facing 26 years in prison. Now, I just met in the back the Middlesex prosecutor. Isn't that interesting? And you know what I said to him? Long Branch gave to Monmouth County prosecutor to Middlesex, the prosecution of Jake Pascucci, right? He went to Middlesex, he was found guilty. 364 days in jail, forfeit his license. He hasn't been to jail, and he hasn't been to lost his license. So I asked him, can you comment on that? And he looked down and he saw my press pass, and he said, no comment. You know why he said no comment? Pascucci hasn't gone to jail yet. He's actually in partners with the other disgraced officer, Joyce Jr., driving his landscaping truck around. I mean, it's a disgrace. He wasn't even fired after he killed the state trooper's aunt. And he pleaded guilty, and he still hasn't gone to... In other words, Middlesex gave him a deal, 364 days in jail. Do you know why? Because 365, which is far short of what he should have gotten, 364, you go to Middlesex County Jail. 365, you go to state prison. You look at cases across New Jersey, hundreds of them. I can't find anyone with less than 5 years, between 5 and 15 for what he did. And that's why the Middlesex prosecutor would say to me, well, let me just blame it on his press pass. Because I said, I didn't approach him as press. I said, I live here. Right? I said, I'm a resident of Monmouth County. I was born here. You know my spiel. And he just said, he looked down. I guess this was his excuse. Press, no comment. Really? I want to know, why not? Why? We trace back. Huh? Chief Roebuck worked for Pascucci's father. Pascucci was brought over from Oceanport, I believe. Right? Brought over by who? I believe Roebuck, their friends, etc. Some of this has to be qualified, but one thing you know, how much time do I have?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. One thing's for sure. When you're talking Asbury and Long Branch, I'm born in 1948. I have seen every corrupt, malicious, mean, evil thing that goes on in these cities. And I'm talking crime, corruption, and nepotism by teachers, by priests, by mayors, by police chiefs, by you name it, firemen, everybody. And you know what? There's no one in this room can deny the state statistics. If you Google 30 most dangerous places in New Jersey, it's still Asbury number 2, Neptune number 15, and Long Branch number 25. There's 565 municipalities, and this city is 25th? That's a disgrace. That's a disgrace. And it hasn't gotten better under this team. It's the same. You know, you can move within your little space. That doesn't mean much. It's when you move up a spot, safer, safer, safer. This city could be 350th with the right team. The crime here in Long Branch, and then you have the collusion between the police and the firemen. And you know what? These officers are sons of firemen. They're possible son of a retired prosecutor. You know what? You got state-of-the-art lawyers here in the city, in both cities. Well, not in Asbury. We have Ansel Grimm still. So let's not say state-of-the-art, but at least Mr. Renown, come on. Let's go back and start to go after them for all the things they've done. You can't just say, well, let's go forward. You know, even Pier Village, that whole thing, house for house, was not legit. But the master of deceit, James Aaron, who now is off doing his thing, destroying Asbury, using this as a model, and no one stops them. They're going to hire in Asbury the lady from Homedale who was forced out under investigation. They're giving her a contract tonight in Asbury. Donna Vieira from Homedale. Is that my time up?
Thank you, sir.
It is up? Thank you, and I appreciate the time.
Anyone else?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrea Reichert. I live at 73 Atlantic Avenue in Long Branch. I'm here today to talk to you about pickleball. Kathy was very nice to put a pamphlet in front of all of you, okay, that can just explain a couple of things I'm talking about tonight. So a quick rehash of what pickleball is in case any of you don't know, because the last time I spoke up here was before the other administration. Pickleball is a paddle sport that combines the element of tennis, badminton, and ping pong. It's played by all ages, especially seniors. It's a great form of cardiovascular exercise. And as a technical director of nuclear cardiology at Monmouth Cardiology Associates for 31 years, I know the benefits and how important exercise is. It's challenging, fast-paced, and competitive. It's played on tennis courts or dedicated pickleball courts. It's also the fastest growing sport in America today, especially among seniors. About January, I think, 2018, about a year and a half ago, we stood in front of the council and asked the city to line 2 tennis courts at Manahasset Creek Park so we could play pickleball. The city was fabulous. They did that for us. They also supplied us with nets to play on. Since we've had a very large showing with very successful, since then we've had a very large showing with very successful results. 20 to 30 players a day. I brought my buddies with me, my pickleball buddies with me. 20 to 30 players a day, close to 7 days a week came and played. Spring and summer have been fabulous. We played right into the fall. It's getting a little dark right now, so we can't really play after about 6 o'clock at night. And we'd like to thank the City of Long Branch for working with us to make this happen, because the city has been extremely supportive of us in establishing this program, more so than other cities around, because we've attended that to ask for courts. I'd also especially like to thank Mr. Carl Jennings, as well as David Brown and Tim Cox for before him, for their continued help and support to get this activity going in town. So what am I here to ask for? Okay, because of the overwhelming success of the pickleball program and the several meetings with Mr. Jennings, we're here tonight to ask the city to erect 9 dedicated pickleball courts with lights. The suggested location is Jerry Morgan Park on Long Branch Avenue. The existing tennis and paddle tennis courts are rarely, if ever, used. By taking advantage of the existing courts, it reduced the overall cost of the project substantially. On page 4 of the handout, I have there's an aerial view of the existing tennis and paddle courts. And then on the next page, page 5, they're not numbered, I apologize, but you can just go through that. On page 5 is a preliminary suggested design for 9 dedicated pickleball courts that would maximize the use of the existing courts. The inclusion of lighting to the courts is critical to their design and maximum use. Included in these handouts are pictures of existing pickleball courts in New Jersey, as well as some articles and facts about pickleball that can explain its explosion of the sport in the area and all over the country. I'd now like to hand over this to my associate Kim Smith, who's an ambassador of the sport of pickleball, as well as a tennis pro and a pickleball teacher, to give some more facts on why we're asking for these courts. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Kim Smith, and I live at 22 Browns Lane in Fairhaven. I've been a pickleball ambassador for 4 years and a pickleball instructor for 3.5. The growth I have seen this past year with pickleball has been phenomenal. It's been threefold of what it has been within the last year. The reason why the sport is so popular is a great workout. It's very social. All different people of different ages can play. All my kids play. We see parents out there with their 10-year-olds. Any age can play. It's for everybody. Right now, there's over 6,700 places to play in the United States. It's estimated that over 3.5 million people are playing, and there's over 700 tournaments every year in the United States, as compared to 400 tournaments in 2017. That's a growth we're seeing. Down in Naples this past year, there was a U.S. Open. They had 2,100 participants, and the U.S. Open filled up in an hour and a half. It was sold out. So it's just the sport is exploding. I just see it being such a great thing for Long Branch, especially with all the development going on. It's great for people coming into town, people that are on vacations. When people travel, they can bring their paddles with them. The WOSA has a website that you can go to and you can find places to play. So it would be another activity that would be available for the Long Branch people that are traveling or the residents. The schools have it now. Long Branch Middle School has it. They have 8 courts in their, or eight nets in their courts. 8 nets in their school, I'm sorry. As far as the growth rate, pickleball had a 13% growth rate this year, whereas tennis had a 3% decline, so it seems like people are going more toward pickleball. What else can I say? Great socially. Seniors. What's that?
For the seniors, it's such a great,
It would be
great sport because
social sport. You know that, you know, the seniors and above, a lot of times there's not enough socialization. It's just fabulous like that. It's exercise. I mean, it's amazing the amount of people, 55 and older, who are out there playing, and it's just become addictive to people. It's especially with the town of Long Branch, the growth in Long Branch, you see people down in the courts all the time. It's really been, you know, it's been an exciting time for this sport. It's just a fun, good way to get together.
So besides, I'll just give you, anyone feel what it feels like?
That's right.
Whoops. So this is ball pattern. So it's easy. It's so easy for everybody to learn. I've done clinics where I've had a 75-year grandmother with her 5-year-old grandchild and been out there being hit back and forth. So it's for all ages. In the U.S. Open, they even had the youngest player was 10 and the oldest was 91. But besides it being social and very great workout, it's very mentally stimulating. There's so much thinking that goes on, so much strategy. So it's whoa.
It's okay. Got it.
So anyway, we're hoping that.
Yes, I might.
So anyway, we're just hoping that Long Branch would consider putting in some lit pickleball courts so that people that work during the day can play in the evenings. It would be really wonderful. So, Bob, did you want to? It's coming up, right?
Good evening. My name is Dwight Maycock. I live at 25 Asbury Avenue in Oceanport. I'm the president of the Monmouth Pickleball Club. There is such a thing. We're an extremely organized social group, very active through the whole county. We have a pretty large outreach program made up of people like Andrea, Kim Smith, and others that are sitting here in the room. Tonight, I just wanted to give you a real quick overview of what's happening specifically in Monmouth County as far as pickleball is concerned, so you can understand where Long Branch fits into the picture. We started this club in 2016. There were about 25 people total in Monmouth County that felt the need for it. We did that. It grew the next year some more. It grew again. At this point, we have 175 members in the pickleball club. And that is really limited and dictated by just the limitation of indoor space during the winter. During the summer months, the population swells. So in terms of membership in our club, Long Branch residents, at this point, there are about 25, out of the 175, there are about 25 Long Branch members. But what has happened this year, and this goes back, last year we had 10 public courts outside throughout Monmouth County. To give you an idea of what's happened, as they were saying, in the explosive growth of the sport, we now have 48 outdoor courts in 1 year. We went from 10 to 48. Part of that is the 8 courts that we have at Manahasset. But we also did courts at Tyndall Park in Middletown, at Normandy Park in Middletown, in Eatontown, in Manalapan. We also did them in Atlantic Highlands, Little Silver, and the list goes on and on. So what's happening is everybody is taking unused tennis courts, which I'm sure you've driven by, and there's nothing going on there. You look at those, and as they said, you go by Manahasset Park on a Saturday morning, there are 50 people there. What happens, though, is that Manahasset Park, those are tennis courts, it's multi-use. We share the courts with tennis players. Long Branch sponsored a adult and child tennis clinic or camp during the summer. They took more than half the courts. The pickleball population just basically went away or was decreased. So what we're trying to accomplish is to have a home for tennis, a home for pickleball, and have both groups have a facility. What we've also done, and again, to give you some kind of idea of the growth, we've started a communication network throughout Monmouth County. It's a phone app. Everybody has phone apps for everything in the world today. So there's a phone app called Team Reach. We have every public park where we have these tennis courts basically on Team Reach. At the beginning of this year, we started in Long Branch at Manahasset with about 70 people on the Team Reach app. Today, just through the summer, it's 225 people. Of the 225, 100 of those people are Monmouth Pickleball Club members. The other 125 are people in Long Branch that have driven by Manahasset, seen us playing, and now stop. And it's very common on a Saturday, Sunday, we'll have people coming from Wall Township, Manalapan, Marlboro, wherever. They're on their way to the beach in Long Branch. They stop, they play with us, they go to Pier Village. So it's something that brings people to the town. And also, in general, I don't think there's a 55-plus community that's been built in Monmouth County that does not include pickleball courts at this point. So if you're talking about development at Pier Village or any nearby areas, it's an amenity that that group would be looking for. So, you know, our little group, again, we promote the sport throughout Monmouth County, not just Long Branch, but Long Branch has become one of the key focal points. We have people coming to this town from all over the county specifically to play pickleball, and it's all shared with Long Branch residents. The Jerry Morgan Park location would be a dynamic facility, especially if we had lights, so you can continue the sport during evening hours. So just ask you to take a look at the packages that was presented for you, and if we can in any way facilitate that, answer questions, or get you more information, we'd be more than happy to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Avery Grant, 405 Lank Avenue. I was concerned about Patty's question on your master plan. I'm quite familiar with master planning. I was the city engineer of East Orange, and I've served 6 years on the zoning board here. And I don't know, you might be new, but you might not remember, at one time there was not to be any high-rises past Morris Avenue. So I said, you should have public input in this, because right now, coming from my school board, we're spending a lot of money for what we call social emotional learning, which cuts down on harassing and bullying. But that costs money. And we've come to the city before for some support, and it wasn't given us. Now, we do cooperate on services and stuff, and I'm not bad-mouthing on that, but I'm saying whatever you do, hopefully it'll be revenue producing. So let's keep that in mind. Because it's very important. We've got a lot going on. The school district was just awarded the Lighthouse Award by the state. Out of 600, a little more than 600 school districts, they selected 11, and we were one of them. And that was done because of how our grades are going and how we've cut down on bullying, and we're just doing great in the school district. So we'll need help to keep that up. And as you know, we just dedicated the old high school. And I have to thank you and the public that we didn't tear it down, because we opened it up this year. There are 140 students in that building now. If we had not kept that building, we would be in serious trouble. So again, I ask you to consider the people, the tax burdens and those type of things. Whatever you do in your planning, make sure it can produce some revenue for the school district and the city, and maybe cut down on some of the other activities that we have. And tonight we did honor the mayor for his volunteering, he and his wife, so we can thank you for that. So thank you very much. Oh, I did forget, I'm not sure what pickleball is, but I think you need to explain it. But in East Orange, Althea Gibson was our advisor, and we built 2 paddleball courts. Is that similar to pickleball? Because it's a smaller court, and you got everybody, little kids, old people. It's a fun game. So if it's the same, it's a good thing to have in your town.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Randy Phillips. I live at 161 Avenel Boulevard here in the city of Long Branch. As each one of you know, I was here last year about the Housing Authority Board position, and tonight I heard there was someone being appointed. I wanted to come and see who that person was. I'm quite sure she'll do a good job. She seems like she's a very nice lady. I don't know her personally, but I wish you all the success. I do have some confusion. I'd like to know what the city has against me personally. I have a very distinguished career here in Long Branch. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, a homeowner for over 40 years, a Hall of Fame in the city of Long Branch, started many programs at the Housing Authority, including all of the NA programs that they have today, Narcotics Anonymous programs. When I was there, they didn't have any, and I started them, and today in the city of Long Branch, there's one every day, sometimes there's two. And I had applied for this position properly when you ask for resumes, and I had an outstanding resume. Mrs. Avoid, I met your neighbor at the Y. They called me Mr. Long Branch at the Y because I'm always talking about Long Branch. And he said, oh, I live in Long Branch, in the mill building. So one of the council people saw, and he spoke very highly of you. Mayor, your father and your uncle, when they sold Christmas trees uptown, they only charged me $5. Sometimes they would give them to me for free. They said, Randy, you know you don't have to pay. That's the way I've been treated in the city of Long Branch all my life. I was a resident of Seaview Manor Public Housing. I rose to the Assistant Executive Director of the Long Branch Housing Authority. And then when I go to volunteer my time and my talents, I'm told that we decide to go in another direction and get someone with more experience. I don't know what, and the person's not even as old as that she's not even those as my length of time at the Housing Authority. So I'd just like to know, is there something personal that the council and the mayor have against me? I would seriously like to know that. Oh yeah, and I'm a taxpayer. I've been paying taxes for over 40 years. I've lived in the house I'm in now for 40 years. Prior to that, I lived at 266 Vanderveer Place. Raised my family here. My kids went to school here. My name is on the wall at the high school as being in the Hall of Fame, captain of the football team, first undefeated, untied football team in the history of Long Branch, and had the record when I got out of school for the most yards and most offense. That was just me. Never was in any trouble, never been arrested. So I don't know. Is there something that you have against me? Can anybody answer that?
No, I have nothing against you.
No.
Anyone else?
We have nothing against you.
Mayor?
Nothing against you, Mr.
But I'm not qualified to be on the board?
I think you're very qualified.
Then it must be something. It has to be something. It has to be. When you serve your country, that's something and I served during the Vietnamese War, that's something that's, people look up to that. Every place I go, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. And I'm very proud of that. I never call myself an ex-Marine. I'm a Marine. And as a Marine, you're taught never to give up. And if you think that things are not right, then you question them. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was outstanding Marine Corps graduate from Parris Island. My first night there, the drill instructor said, Phillips, I don't want you to do any work. I want you to be my squad leader. He said, you make sure everybody else do work. And then I come back. Went to college on a football scholarship. Went to college, was the first black player at the University of Tulsa in 1963. Only for a day, then my roommate came in the next day. But those are the things, a little bit about my life, and I can't even be a member of the Long Branch Housing Authority Board that I served, worked there for 25 years. When I retired, I was acting director of the Asbury Park Housing Authority. My last assignment was to relocate all the people from Boston Way, and I did it very efficiently. I'm not begging to be on the board. I'm not begging, believe me. If somebody said you can be on the board, I don't think I would be on the board anyway at this point, because I just don't think I would be. But I thank you for your time since I get no answers.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I need a motion to close. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Just a quick minute here. My name is Robert Sickler, 73 Atlantic Avenue. I lived in North End, that's a mistake there, for the past 49 years. I know this city really well, and I know the number of football fields that are here, baseball fields that are here, tennis courts, basketball courts, no pickleball courts. It's relatively a new sport, probably about 30, 35 years. I think most of these courts and fields that I speak of are basically geared toward the younger people and maybe middle age situation. But none of them really target the seniors. I think it's about time we have something that is targeting the seniors. I think exercise is the key ingredient for better health, especially among seniors. And a lot of us who've played tennis all our life or platform tennis, we have rotator cuff situations and knees start to go bad. And on a smaller court with a wiffle ball, if you will, and a paddle, it is designated for the senior people to go out and have fun. And the key for people to get exercise is to have fun. Because if you just have to do exercise for the sake of exercise, most of the time you're going to fail with it. So I can tell you the seniors have really taken off and having fun on this, socially and exercise. So I'd like you to give solid consideration at a location that is totally unutilized. And I think we can add something very positive for the senior committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have anyone else? Now can we have a motion to close?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We can take the listed resolutions as a consent agenda. Roll call.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion?
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr.
Yeah.
Selly? Dr. Selly?
Yeah.
Mr. Dangler?
I vote yes on all the resolutions with the exception of R 187-19, which I vote no. Applications. We have none. Miscellaneous business for the good of the order. Councilman Vieira.
Yes, good evening, and thanks for coming. It's nice to have a packed house. It makes our day up here, and it's nice for you guys to listen to us and for us to hear your input. So thanks again for coming. And for Mark, our Employee of the Month, congratulations, and thanks for the hard work you do. And for all the chaplains that were sworn in today, I want to thank them for the time that they donate to us. And good night.
Councilwoman Vogt.
So good evening, everyone. I think you convinced us all that we want to learn how to play pickleball. So you put you did an excellent presentation, and the booklet and everything. It's you did a great job with presenting your case and certainly making a case for exercise particularly for seniors. So that is wonderful. I also want to just congratulate everybody that worked on Police Week. You had an outstanding week last week with a number of events, and so that always is very thrilling for Long Branch and does great work in terms of building community and police relationships. So nice job there. And also nice job on our second annual Accessible Beach Bash last Sunday, which was another, Anita, very nice success, sponsored primarily by our Disabilities Committee. And again, just a very heartwarming event in terms of what Long Branch has been able to do to open up our beautiful beach to everybody in our city. So congratulations on a job well done.
Councilwoman Wittes.
I too want to learn how to play pickleball. I walk in Manhasset Creek Park on the weekends and I watch and I can see how everyone's enjoying themselves and the camaraderie and everything, so it's great. I also want to congratulate the chaplains for being appointed this evening, and to Anita and Don Riley for your appointments. We wish you good luck and much success with that, and we thank you for, giving up your time to help better the city. And I hope everyone had a great summer, and we look forward to fall, and we thank you for coming this evening. Thank you.
Councilwoman Selly.
Tonight, after 3 months, I'm going to talk about the Long Branch Senior Center. I serve as a liaison from this council, and many of the comments that were made were inaccurate. So I'm going to try to let you know what actually goes on down there. I'm not just a liaison. I go down, I attend the programs. I'm there at least 2 times a week. So I know what's going on. I know the wonderful programs. For any of you who are seniors, and maybe there's a couple here, the Long Branch Senior Center is well known in Monmouth County, and it certainly is known as one of the best. We have a great senior center director, and the man alluded to the audit. I'll tell you about the audit and who conducted it. There was an accusation made, so we had a full-blown audit. The chief financial officer was there, the business administrator at that time was there, the director was there, and I was there. And after it was conducted, there was nothing wrong. We got a clean slate. So to bring up the audit after 2 years, I think is a little not in the best taste, shall I say. So for those of you, I invite you to come down and see the senior center at 2nd Avenue and see what's going on. As a matter of fact, the speaker has never been there to attend a program. So how can you talk about things that go on if you've never attended? Normally, I don't spout out and I don't say anything, but I'm just a little tired of the inaccuracies that are said and at the director and at the people who attend the senior center, which is not true. So for those of you, I invite you to come down and see what's going on. And with that, I also congratulate the Employee of the Year, the new chaplains. To you, Anita, congratulations, and to you, Don, congratulations. And with that, I'll say good night.
Mayor Pallone.
Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. I wasn't going to say anything either, but I'll simply add to what Dr. Sully was saying. We have both known the director for almost 30 years. Perhaps Dr. Sully has known her even more. She does a great job. Everyone has always been completely supportive, including this council, and will continue to be. So I basically support everything Dr. Sully had already said. Regarding pickleball, thank you for the great presentation. I know we've talked in the past. I was smiling, sir, when you were talking because I've been a tennis player all my life, and I just play periodically now, but I've been playing again recently with my 12-year-old. And just the other day, we were on a court with the pickleball lines, and I was just saying, I can't do this anymore. I got to try that game. So thank you again for the presentation, and I know Mr. Jennings is in the back, and regardless of anything, he has always been an advocate for pickleball. He's constantly talking about it. So you have a fan there. There's a couple things I just wanted to add, though. So Long Branch Day is coming up on Sunday, October 20th from 1 to 4 at Slocum Park. Join us for a fun day of food, family-friendly activities, and fun. If you'd like to be a vendor, please call Lisa Kelly at the library. I wanted to thank everyone who attended our last coffee with the mayor and council at the Bucky James Center last week. It was one of our largest attended events, and we thank all the residents who joined us. I wanted to remind everyone that the Shop Long Branch Property Tax Reward Program officially started a few months ago. The program is designed to encourage local residents to support local businesses within the municipality while all receiving a property tax rebate. So for the list of businesses and for information about getting a card, please go to www.longbranch.org, which is our website. And again, I just want to thank everyone for coming this evening and for your comments.
My first comment, I would like to, now that the summer is over, thank the Recreation Department and Director Carl Jennings for once again keeping our youth first and continuing to employ them. And as you know, the administration here is certainly committed to our youth having summer jobs, and we seem to be growing, and I just want to say thank you for that. In regards to pickleball, I don't know anything about it. However, if Carl Jennings is playing, then you can count me in. With that being said, just thank you for coming out. Get home safely. And now I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Talk to this guy. I haven't seen this guy in years.
Yeah.